My name is Matt Dietrich. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions here at the Penn State School of International Affairs. I'm joined by my colleague and the Director of Admissions, Christy Percio, who again will be assisting you in your questions. So again, feel free to ask those as we go along, and she will answer those as well. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about Penn State and the School of International Affairs. We're going to go ahead and get into our curriculum as well as various opportunities afforded to Master of International Affairs students. Talk a little bit about what post graduation looks like. We'll also talk about scholarships, the admissions process, financing your education, and things like that as well. And of course, we can answer questions related to that if we don't get to them at any time in the webinar. So some quick fast facts about the School of International Affairs. We do offer a professional master's degree in international affairs. So just kind of putting it out there in the beginning, if you're not here specifically for a Master of International Affairs degree, or you're not interested in public policy or things along those lines, I'm not sure that our webinar will be for you today. So if you're looking to learn about chemistry or mathematics or engineering or those types of degrees, we don't represent those colleges or departments. So I'm sorry, we won't be able to answer questions about that. We can only answer questions about the Master of International Affairs. It is a professional degree, so it's geared towards students who are interested in getting a job post-graduation. A lot of our students or graduates are getting jobs in the public sector, although there are private sector opportunities as well that our students are engaging in post-graduation. And largely, we are geared towards helping folks get the skills that they need to immediately get a job post-graduation, as opposed to getting a PhD like many other traditional academic master's programs. You won't have to write a thesis, and we'll get into that in a little bit. For our program, again, we are professionally oriented and working on helping students get skills. We are a member of the Association for Professional Schools of International Affairs. This speaks to the rigor and prestige of our program. We're one of just over 30 schools within this consortium of schools of international affairs, and we're really excited and privileged to be a part of it. We offer an interdisciplinary, flexible, and customizable curriculum. We will touch on a lot of facets of international affairs throughout our core curriculum. You have the flexibility to take classes in international affairs to form or customize a concentration of your choosing. We have 12 concentrations that you can choose from, which we'll talk a little bit about here soon. And the flexibility to take some classes across the university as you see fit for your degree, and of course in conjunction with academic advising. We offer education abroad. I know many of you are aspiring international students to our program, and I know that you will be studying abroad here in the United States. I'm well aware of that. But in some cases, international students go abroad while they're abroad. And then if you're a domestic student within the United States, you do have the opportunity to go abroad as well to enhance your education. We offer elite experienced faculty. We have faculty that are experts in many fields, as well as folks who are practitioners of international affairs, such as former diplomats and ambassadors as well. And we boast an over 90% career attainment rate. Right now, it's at a 93.8% career attainment rate within 1 year of graduating our program. So let's talk a little bit about curriculum flexibility here at the School of International Affairs. This is one of the more attractive pieces to our program is the ability to have a flexible degree. You can choose one of 12 concentrations or completely create your own. When creating your own, a lot of times students will take one of our concentrations and just form it in such a way that it's more niche to their interests. For example, we have over 60% of our students choose to create their own concentration, and maybe they're interested in our international business and economics concentration, but they are more interested in the business side of it. And so they'll focus more on business classes as opposed to economics classes within that concentration. And they'll call it just international business, or they'll say international business in an Asian context. And so those are some of the ways that students create their own, or they customize our pre-selected concentrations. You can take electives in many top Penn State graduate programs, although most of your classes will be held within our program in international affairs. There will be some opportunity for you to take classes in other departments and colleges across the university to form that concentration that you have chosen to create. You can complete electives abroad. Again, we have over about 25 education abroad experiences, whether that be traditional study for a semester or summer internships or a mix of both. You can make progress towards your degree by going abroad. It won't delay your graduation, and you'll be able to take graduate level courses while on these excursions. You can add on a graduate certificate, whether you're online or residential. I think this is attractive for a lot of students because it gives you the opportunity to get more credentials or more skills that you need for a particular area of interest. And I think given how big Penn State is, there are a lot of opportunities for you to engage in those types of extracurricular opportunities. You can start or perfect a foreign language. Many students come into the program knowing a language other than the one they were raised learning, or other than English, for example. And so they come here wanting to either perfect it, or folks come not knowing a language at all other than English, and they start that language in the program. We do have a language proficiency requirement. You have to complete up to the fourth level of any language other than English, and so that is part of the program. It's a requirement for graduation and can be done here while at Penn State. As far as capstone or culmination experience, students can choose between a master's paper or an internship. Given the professional nature of our degree, most students are completing the internship component, although a master's paper is chosen by a subset of students, whether they're interested in going on to get a PhD afterwards or increasing their writing portfolio as well. So why consider coming to Penn State? Well, one, Penn State is a top 100 global university according to US News and World Report, as well as topuniversities.com. Penn State does have the largest alumni association globally with 175,000 plus dues paying members of the Penn State Alumni Association and 740,000 plus alumni worldwide. This is important because networking is important. It's not always about what you know, but about who you know. And I can give you a lot of personal anecdotes and stories that I've heard from my time being at Penn State of people meeting Penn Staters all over the place. There was just a report that came out recently that Penn State has produced the most CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. I think that's correct. But they have produced a certain amount of CEOs in a particular sector. And so if Penn Staters are bosses, then that means they're probably hiring Penn Staters. And so that's a really good avenue into getting into the industry. We do have a global community, and we're centrally located here at the University Park campus. You can see, according to our map, that we are located close to at least three major U.S. cities. There are a few others that aren't included, including Baltimore, Pittsburgh, for example, and also Toronto, which is an international city, of course. We do have our students going to these cities for networking opportunities or just for leisure. We do take our students to Washington, D.C. and New York every fall and spring for career exposure trips where they can meet with employers as well as our alumni that live in those areas, and not just Penn State alumni, generally speaking, but more specifically School of International Affairs alumni. I would say our alumni base here at SIA is young and thriving. They're excited. They want to meet with students. And we'll talk a little bit about how to connect with our alumni in a few slides here. And you can see some other statistics about Penn State. One I want to mention is how international student friendly we are here at the university, and the statistics that relate to that. But also, the State College area is a top 100 place to live in the United States. It's very safe and affordable to live around here, and it's your quintessential quaint college town, U.S. college town. So why come to SIA? Well, as I've been talking about, you get full access to an excellent university. It's a tier one research institution, which it really is just fancy talk for Penn State gets a lot of money for research and all kinds of activities and things like that. You get support from every angle here at SIA. This means that we offer a three-tiered advising approach. Every student will get a career advisor, a faculty advisor, and an academic advisor. But also, as in addition to that, you'll also get mentorship from second-year students as a first-year student and alumni mentorship. We have an alumni mentorship program that allows first and second year students to be matched up with an alumni in their particular interest area or career endeavors to help you through applications, expand your network, and those types of things. Again, we offer education abroad. We're one of very few graduate programs just across the board, particularly within APSIA. And I think the only one here at Penn State that offers education abroad for graduate students, where you can get graduate credit and not delay graduation. And I think that's a valuable opportunity for many of our students. A lot of our students choose to go abroad at least once, whether through internships or through traditional education abroad while they're in our program. We offer networking through the Penn State Alumni Association and our SIA career trips, again, to DC and New York. Our students will network with employers in those areas. We take our students to places like the World Bank, the IMF, the Council on Foreign Relations, other private sector firms, the State Department, to meet with employers. But then we also have a networking reception with our alumni base in those cities as well for other networking opportunities and just meeting new people. We also have a tight-knit, diverse, and global community. Our students, faculty, and staff come from all over the world. And that's one of the things that makes our community really great. We are very community-oriented and minded here at the School of International Affairs. Our director holds a monthly global affairs conversation where almost virtually our entire community comes together to talk about the hot topics of global affairs right now. And typically they'll talk about something that's going on in the news and tie it to some sort of theoretical matter within international affairs and try and make sense of it all. And I think that that's a really great way to build community. And of course, there's always free lunch. Over 90% career attainment rate within 1 year of graduation since 2013. And again, right now that's at a 93.8%. It just speaks to how good of a job our career service office does in connecting folks to opportunities, getting internships and jobs once they graduate. All right, now let's talk about the reason you're here, probably to learn more about our application requirements and how to apply. This is your time to take notes. I'm going to go over deadlines, very important deadlines, and how to succeed in the application. Now, we're not going to take the time to really break down the application today. There are best practices in applying to graduate school webinars that we're going to be hosting throughout the semester, throughout the fall here. So keep an eye on your email for more on that. And that's where we'll really break down the application and help you succeed as you plan to apply to our program. So first, some important deadlines that you need to be aware of is the first one is our merit-based scholarship consideration deadline. This is January 31st, 2025 by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're applying for the fall 2025 semester and you are interested in being considered for merit-based scholarships, please apply no later than January 31st, 2025. We really want you to have an entirely completed application by then. And that means having your letters of recommendation in and on your status page, seeing that your application is complete by January 31st. So we do recommend beginning your application now and submitting it before winter break is a good goal to set so that we can get you in our queue and get you a scholarship and admissions decision by February at the latest. The final deadline for admission is March 21st, 2025. This is really the deadline for admission, not necessarily merit-based scholarships. We can't guarantee that merit-based scholarships will be available by this time. In some cases, there could be, but really don't put your eggs in one basket on this one. I would apply by January 31st at the latest for fall 25. After March 21st is rolling admission, and this really just is based on seat availability. At this point, there's likely not going to be scholarships available, so I wouldn't recommend applying really after January 31st, but definitely not after March 21st. Okay, so how to apply and application requirements. The first thing to do is visit our website. You want to go to the link here. Really, if you just go to sia.psu.edu and navigate to our admissions tab, all of this information is there. You want to read through this very thoroughly. Take time before you open up an application to go through all of our requirements, everything that's required of you. All of this is going to be super duper important, but I'm just going to highlight the most important parts here. So the requirements will include your most updated current resume or CV. We need official transcripts or at least a copy of the official transcripts upon application. A lot of times, not a lot of times, but in some cases, students will put grade reports, semester reports, or they'll screenshot their transcripts or something like that. Unfortunately, these will cause your application to remain in application incomplete status until you can get us at least a copy of the official transcripts. Sometimes registrars will call a copy of a copy of official transcripts the unofficial transcripts. That is fine. Really, we just need to make sure that we get a version of your official transcripts at some point throughout the application process so that we can process your application thoroughly. The statement of purpose is also important. This is really just your personal essay that you may use in many other contexts as far as applying to graduate school. We do need you to tailor your statement of purpose to our program. So reading through our website, getting to meet with Christy and myself one-on-one, which you'll learn about in a little bit. And learning about our program is a really great way to set yourself up for success in the statement of purpose. There are 2 prompts on the website in the application as well. Pick one, follow that, and do a really good job on your statement of purpose. Please read through all of our website as far as how to apply. There are really important policies as far as plagiarism and the use of AI-generated software for writing the statement of purpose that we have a policy on. So make sure that you are not copying and pasting from ChatGPT, for example. Make sure that if you are citing or using work that is not your own, that you are citing it properly. We will use plagiarism and AI software to detect if you are plagiarizing in any way from either of those things. A statement of purpose is typically 500 to 750 words. You really shouldn't write less than 500 words. If you write a little bit more than 750 words, that's fine, but really this is cover letter style. And make sure that you show a keen interest in Penn State and the School of International Affairs. Copying and pasting from your application to another program and using it for ours is not a recipe for success. We can pretty much detect without a shadow of a doubt all the times that students are doing these, and that's won't really be good for you as far as admission. So make sure you're using your own work and writing a brand new statement of purpose for our program. We do need the contact information for 2 recommenders. We recommend that you ask at least 1 faculty member from your undergraduate degree to write a letter of recommendation. 2 is ideal, but if you have 1 supervisor from a professional opportunity and 1 faculty member, then that's fine as well. We do need you to complete program-specific questions. These are at the end of the application and will be used in your admissions and scholarship decision. You'll see those as you go through the application. Make sure you are answering those, again, in your own words, not using any large language models or anything like that to answer these questions for you. Please use your own work, your own words as well. For international students, you do need a proof of English proficiency, either through the TOEFL or IELTS exam. The minimum score for the TOEFL is an 80 on the internet-based test, and for TOEFL is 80 on the internet-based test, and for IELTS is a 6.5 overall band score. Once you take the exam, just have those scores sent to Penn State. If you're using the TOEFL exam, that is code 2660. For IELTS, just have them sent to Penn State Graduate School immediately. Even if you haven't applied yet, just have them sent to us. One of the biggest delays for international students in the English proficiency is missing English proficiency scores and is missing the official scores. We can't use self-reported scores to evaluate your application. You also need a conferred degree that is comparable to a U.S. four-year bachelor's degree. And on our website, you can find the requirements for international students. Sometimes, depending on the country that you're from, you will need to submit a degree certificates in the official language as well as English. Sometimes transcripts need to be in the official language as well as in English. So just make sure that you are doing your due diligence and research to ensure that you're putting together the application that we need to process your evaluation. All right, let's talk about the fun stuff, tuition and what it may cost for you to come here. Again, this is just the tuition, the estimated tuition without any scholarships or any funding of any kind. For out-of-state and international students, you can expect to pay this on the tuition bill. You'll see that there is a difference between the fall and the spring semester. On the next slide, I'll talk more in depth about this, but this really is just a difference in credits. A lot of times students will take 12 credits in the fall and then 9 credits in the spring. Although you may take 12 credits in the fall and 12 credits in the spring, and there is a difference in tuition on that as well. If you do take 12 credits in the spring, the price for the fall and the spring will be the same. These are the non-billable expenses. In other words, this is the quote unquote estimated cost of living in the State College area. As far as rent and meals go. For books, I don't anticipate students needing to pay $600 in books, particularly for our program. I think this is just maybe the average cost across the university. I think that's a bit high. Most of the times, students won't spend that much in books. But as far as rent and meals go, again, this is really just based on your lifestyle. You may pay more, you may pay less than this. It just depends on how you live, and these are personal choices, of course. But this is what they estimate you might need for 1 year here at the university. And then as far as your billable and non-billable expenses, the combined total is around $56,425. Now, for international students, in order to get your I-20, which is required for the visa, you will need to have a financial guarantee of about $61,800. This is required for the I-20. And if you're not able to show those types of funds, you won't get the I-20. And you won't get the visa as well. So please keep that in mind. For in-state students, if you are a Pennsylvania resident, again, the difference in tuition in the fall and spring is the credit difference, and I'll talk a little bit more about this soon. But this is what you might anticipate paying on the bill, and then what you should expect to pay for living expenses and things like that. Again, the billable expenses is what will show up on the tuition bill. The non-billable expenses is what you should expect to pay out of pocket. This Penn State will not bill you. Penn State will not ask you to send them money for the non-billable stuff. So I hope that's clear. So important tuition notes, the rates that I showed you are for the 24-25 academic year, so the current academic year. And they're subject to increase and will be announced in July 2025. The non-billable expenses, again, are estimates based on the local cost of living. The tuition rates, again, are based on 12 credits for the fall and 9 credits for the spring. Once you go from 9 to 12 credits, there's an increase in tuition. From 12 to 18 credits, it's all the same price. Again, international students must meet the financial guarantee regardless of the amount of credits they're enrolled. Whether you're enrolled in 9 or 12 credits, you will need to show about $61,800 for your I-20. Sometimes, even if you show enough money for the I-20, you may not still have enough per the consular or embassy officer for the visa. Sometimes international students are denied visas for a few reasons, one of them being they just don't have enough funds for the entirety of their degree. And so it's really important that international students, you seek external means of funding on top of the scholarship that you may earn from the School of International Affairs, uh, such as through grants or government agencies, scholarships, fellowships that are external to the university to show the visa officer that you do have enough money to cover your program and living expenses. Another reason visas are denied, per our understanding, is that, and what you may want to look out for in the visa interview is that you don't have ties to your country to come back, or you show no intent to come back to your home country post graduation. So these are really important considerations in the visa interview process. And if you're admitted to our program, we'll send you information to keep you aware of that as well. As far as merit-based scholarships through the School of International Affairs, in fall 2024, all eligible students admitted to the program did receive some form of merit-based scholarships. Scholarships are limited, not guaranteed, and are completely based on the quality of the application. Top students can expect to see about a 60% discount in their tuition through merit-based scholarships, and this is just on the billable expenses. This does not include the non-billable expenses. International students can use scholarship towards financial guarantee, but again, for all students, we do not offer any fully funded scholarships. There are no 100% tuition scholarships at the School of International Affairs. So if you do get a scholarship from us, immediately once you apply, even before you hear a scholarship decision, please make sure that you're looking for external means of funding. If you're from the United States, whether you're a permanent resident or a citizen of the U.S., apply for FAFSA, government loans, scholarships, and things like that. If you're an international student, scour the internet, look for scholarship opportunities, fellowship opportunities from your home country so that you can make sure that you are able to meet the difference between our scholarship and tuition. And finally, there are no graduate assistantships or teaching assistantship positions within the School of International Affairs. Given the funding model of our university, we're just not afforded any at this time. And that is it as far as our webinar today and the information that we wanted to provide you. But right now, we want to go ahead and answer your questions. Before we do that, take some time to scan the QR codes or screenshot this page here, depending on the device you're using to watch us today. If you're on your phone, sometimes it's challenging to use QR codes to get anywhere. But also feel free to reach out to us. As far as connecting with us, you can meet with Christy or myself one-on-one. We'd be more than happy to do so. We also have virtual tours of our building as well as the university on our Connect page. And of course, we invite you to apply. And with that, we're happy to answer questions that you may have. I imagine that there are many, and Christy has been typing away. But I'm going to go ahead and look at some of these questions. All right, so we have a question here. Does Penn State provide graduate student accommodation on campus? Where do grad students typically live? How walkable is campus? These are all really great questions. Thank you so much. So as far as graduate student accommodation on campus, there are some opportunities for students to live on campus. Although for graduate students, this is not a very popular um, way of going about it. Most of our students, anyway, live off campus. There are a lot of reasons for this. One, I think the flexibility is attractive to our students. Two, there are a lot more opportunities and amenities off campus. I think you can find much cheaper off campus student housing as well. And I think those are some of the top reasons why. Most off-campus housing is within 3 miles of campus. A lot of the places are very student-centered, and so they'll offer, bus passes with your rent to get to campus. The bus system in the area is really reliable, so you don't have to worry about that as well. And there are a lot of good reasons to live off campus, I think. It can be quieter, those types of things. And how walkable is campus? Uh, I suppose this is very subjective. Campus is very, very big. You have to know that there are about 46,000 students here at the University Park campus, and so um, it is a very large campus. But let me say this: if you see in my background, I don't know if my picture is available, but you can see the Lewis Katz building, which is home of the School of International Affairs. In your first year, this is where you stay. This is where all of your classes will be held, as far as its international affairs classes specifically. So you won't have to go very far. Once you get to campus, walk to our building, and there are shuttles that'll actually take you right to our building as well. And you'll be here for most of the day, which is really nice. And then as far as getting around campus, there are shuttles and buses and all kinds of stuff, as well as uh, like ride share bikes that are all over campus. Um, and it is walkable, so I'm not trying to scare you away from that. It's just very big. A lot of times the tour guides will tell you that it takes about 15 minutes to get anywhere on campus. I'm thinking it's about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It is pretty big, but it is walkable. It's a very walk and bike friendly campus. So thanks so much. Yeah, happy to help. Thank you. Someone asks about the Wrangell Pickering fellowships. I believe the fellowship will cover most of the costs of tuition here, but will Penn State work with fellows to cover the rest of the costs? Yeah, if you are a Wrangell Pickering awardee, you go through the whole process and you're awarded the Wrangell Pickering or Payne, as well as the Clark Fellowship. There's a diplomatic security one as well. Uh, everything will be covered with your fellowship. So, um, if you have more specific questions about that, happy to help. Or email us at admissions@sia.psu.edu and we can give you more detailed information on that. But let us know if you do receive that and you want to come to Penn State. Everything will be taken care of. All right. Some more questions are coming in here. Someone asks about English proficiency waivers on here. So there are no waivers for the English proficiency requirement. However, some countries are automatically waived of the English proficiency requirements. That is on our website. So if you go to our admissions page and you look through the countries that don't have to submit English proficiency requirement, or I'm sorry, English proficiency scores, go on our website and check that out. And you can apply without TOEFL or IELTS. If your country is not on that list, unfortunately, you will have to submit IELTS or TOEFL exam scores, and there's no way around that. Unfortunately, we cannot offer waivers for countries not on that list. All right, there were some that I missed. So someone asks, can students do a master's paper and an internship? So for the good of the group, yes, you can. It's not a popular option to do both because a master's paper can be quite a lot of work. Again, it's not really like a thesis or a dissertation or anything like that. It would be in lieu of the internship. Some students do it. I think they have the ambitions of coming into our program and doing both, and then they realize I can just do one and be fine. So it's up to you. So for the good of the group as well, for the language requirement, I already speak Spanish and Portuguese as other foreign languages. That's awesome. If I chose to study Arabic, would I have to test in Arabic then? Um, you can be waived of the requirement if you come in with a language already, depending on your ability to speak, read it, and write it. If you want to take another language on top of that, that would just be up to you, and that would be no problem. Let's see.
Hi Matt, you're doing a great job. Just
Great.
want to chime in here quickly. I'm not sure if our webinar supports this function, but it looks like we have two hand raises,
Hmm.
Anthony and Roddick.
Sure,
Matt, I just wanted to point that out, just in case so that we didn't miss their questions. And of course,
sure,
they can also answer them in the Q&A too. I'll be able to take any questions on that front. Thank you.
sure. Yeah, Anthony, if your it looks like your hand is raised, so I'm gonna allow you to talk and you can ask your question. Oh, okay. Roddick, gonna let you ask your question if you'd like.
Hello, am I on the?
Hello.
Yes, I'm Roddick from China, and I just wondering if there is any prerequisites of the this program for the students for applying this program, and does it require students of a strong mathematical ability?
Yeah, great questions. So as far as prerequisites go, there really are no prerequisites for the program. We have students that apply from or to our program from all kinds of undergraduate majors, engineering, math, statistics, history, political science, global studies, et cetera, languages. So it doesn't matter what background you have. We also have students that come in mid-career and decide they want to make a shift, change, or maybe a master's degree will help them get promoted or something like that. So it really doesn't matter on that front. So great question. And then the second question, requiring a strong math background, you do not need a strong math background to be eligible or succeed in our program. As far as econometrics, data analytics, statistics, and things like that, economics, we train you in that. And if you're interested in our data analytics track, we will also train you in that. Although I've noticed that folks who choose that already have a fairly strong math background already, just because that track can be a bit daunting for those who don't have a strong statistical background. So anyway, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. This is very useful. Thank you, Matthew.
Good. Sure, sure. Thanks so much. Great. All right. So more questions are coming in. Thanks so much for these. This is helpful for us. Is the program one or 2 year program? Also, what kind of elective courses can I take? This is a 2 year program over 4 semesters. So it'll be fall, spring, summer internship if you choose to do that, and then fall, spring graduate. Uh, the elective courses, there are so many that you could take. I highly suggest you go on our website and look at under the academics tab, I believe. You can then go to the concentrations, and then under the concentrations, you can find the list of electives that are available to you. That's my suggestion. Another question, for those who choose internship, will it be in the summer between first and second year? Is there any stipend or partial support for the internship? For The internship, yes, it will be done in the summer between the first and second year. That is the most popular option. As far as stipend or partial support for the internship, sometimes there is some funding available, whether it be through SIA's funds or through the graduate school, the Fox Graduate School here at Penn State. But not always. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. Roddick, I answered your question. Thank you. Oh yeah, great question about GRE scores that I didn't mention in the webinar. We are completely GRE optional. So uh, if you have not taken the GRE or don't want to take the GRE, you don't have to submit GRE scores. If you'd like to, you can submit GRE scores. Whether you do or you don't, it won't negatively impact your application for admission. As far as scholarship goes, historically, folks who submit GRE scores or like quality GRE scores, for example, typically earn more in the merit-based scholarship category. It's not always true, so I'm not making guarantees or anything like that. But if you submit pretty good GRE scores, typically those students do see a higher merit-based scholarship. Now, I'll say this about our application process or our review process is that it is holistic in nature. So we're not really concerned about one part of the application over another. We take the entirety of the application to assess your candidacy for our program. So, if you have like a lower GPA and your statement of purpose is just out of this world, so good, you have a pretty good chance of getting admitted to our program. Um, or, maybe your GPA is really strong, but you don't really have great professional or internship experience. That's fine. So weaknesses in one area can be overcome by strengths in another. All right. So it looks like in the chat here, I heard that winter in Penn State is like harsh cold with heavy snow. Yeah. So actually to be completely honest with you, Roddick, and I appreciate that question. Statement rather, but I sense the question in there. Is that the winters recently have been fairly mild. It does get cold here. We are in the northeast of the United States. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's San Diego all the time around here because Google will, you can fact check me on that, and Google will call me a liar. It does get cold here, but really the winters have been fairly mild in the last few winters. We get maybe one big snowstorm per year. Classes get shut down, and you can stay inside and drink hot cocoa and snuggle up. So it's not too bad. Uh, but we do recommend if you come here to wear big heavy jackets and get some snow boots and sweatpants and all of that to make sure that you stay nice and warm and knit hats as well. Those are always important. With all the public transportation and stuff, if you are worried about the winter, being outside can be just a small part of your day. The fall and the spring are amazing around here. The weather right now is very beautiful. The leaves are going to start changing here pretty soon, and it's quite impeccable. You can see the weather behind me. That's kind of what it looks like today. All right. Another question. Where are the most common locations for students to study abroad? Yeah, good question. Um, I'm a bit removed from where students are going, but I think Latin America is pretty popular, um, as well as the Middle East. That's also pretty popular. We don't send too many students to your typically traditional study abroad locations like Europe, Western Europe particularly. There are some Eastern European spots that our students are going to. Uh, and Maastricht is a popular one as well. Yeah. South Korea, I think if that's still available, students go there. But I would say Latin America, Middle East, North Africa, those are pretty popular locations. All right. Are there any other questions that we can answer? Oh, that's great, Alexandra. Awesome. I am from there as well. So that is quite cool. Nice. All right. Are there any other questions that we can answer for you? If not, happy to end it today. We thank you all so very much for joining us. We hope that you'll take the opportunity to meet with Christy or myself individually. You can, again, you can do so by going to sia.psu.edu/connect. You can also email us at admissions@sia.psu.edu with any questions, concerns, comments. And we do hope to meet you soon. We hope that you apply soon, and we hope that everything works out and you matriculate and become a Penn State student for fall 2025. Thank you all so very much, and have a great rest of your day.